Alright. Let's do it, London.
Zippy. Well, hello, welcome on into this week's edition of Entertainment News here at MBE. We'd just like to thank you once again for joining us here on our YouTube channel and, of course, our Twitch stream. I'm one of your co-hosts, Stephen John McLaughlin, and our other co-host, it's not Zippy, it's John C. Walsh. How are you doing, John? Really? That's very interesting. I'm glad you had a good day.
Yeah, I'm doing fine, Stephen.
Yeah.
Been around paint way too long, and it's entered my nose, it's entered my throat,
Entered your noggin.
it's entered my brain. I'm feeling slightly ill. Not ill, but ill. What? Worse for wear.
Worse for wear.
Worse for wear is probably the phrase I'm going to use for the paint inhalation. But apart from that, feeling good.
As it stands, it is Monday. It's the first day of the week. And it's
fucking weeks are blending into one.
Yeah, this time of year for you it is like that, John. Especially if you're working a Sunday as well.
Yeah,
which
that's
doesn't
8
help.
days in the bounce now I've been working.
So, time to take the foot off the pedal, I think.
I can.
If you can.
Full throttle.
Tell everyone to cancel Christmas. But we're here to talk about, we're going to be talking about a Joker update, obviously in the Matt Reeves version of the Joker, Barry Keoghan. And we're going to be talking about James Gunn confirming his first 5 projects. That is across, obviously, television and film. And we're going to finally solve a mystery about Liam Gallagher's
Or are we?
tweet or X post, whatever you want to call it, from a few weeks ago. We did cover the announcement of a new Oasis album. Well, it's took a turn for perhaps maybe the worse, or has it? We'll talk about that in a little while. But we're going to talk about Barry Keoghan, John. He's gave a definitive Joker update on whether or not he's going to appear in Batman 2, Batman Part 2, that is, and appearing recently as the featured guest on the Happy, Sad, Confused, I think it's a podcast. Barry Keoghan was asked about his future with the Batman franchise after making his debut during the 2022 film. As much as he hoped to come back as the clown prince of crime, Keoghan gave the following response about his potential next chapter as Joker. He said, "It's a big one, but I'm going to say that if the opportunity came about, yes, I'd love to explore and give the opportunity, really dive into it, but I have not been contacted. I've not heard anything." We were talking about Liam Gallagher, John, just before we come on, because we're going to be covering him about double bluffs. Can you see a double bluff here?
No, I don't.
A reveal, maybe?
I genuinely think he's not going to be in the movie.
We talked about this, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't think he'll be in the movie. I think it's too obvious. I think it would be repeating the exact same steps. Obviously, sans Ra's al Ghul and a different villain in the first movie. It was Riddler. And obviously a couple of brief appearances from the Joker, from Keoghan. I'm sure he appeared at one point during the movie and maybe a post-credits. Am I right in saying that? Was it just post-credits?
I was
just
reading this, John, and
post-credits?
because it's been almost 3 years, well, 2.5 years since we saw this film.
Post?
I couldn't remember. I thought it was a deleted scene. I don't know if he was in the cinematic release. I can't
Oh,
remember.
no, he did. Was he?
I can't remember.
Now you've got me questioning.
Because I remember talking about
I think it's post.
when we did the review with Gianni. I think Gianni flagged it up to us. Have you seen this?
Yeah, you may be right.
This
You
was
may not have
after
been in it.
we saw the film. So I may be wrong. Maybe it's a Mandela effect. I don't know. But
I could have swore it was post-credits.
Yeah, it
I may be wrong, though.
I can't remember.
But also
Honestly,
we
I
had
can't.
Falcone and we had the criminal underbelly. We had the Penguin.
Yeah.
Pengling, as Benedict Cumberbatch would call it. And then we move into the second movie. It'd be almost like the Dark Knight trilogy again. If you bring Joker in the second
Peaking too
movie,
fast. Yeah.
peaking too fast, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to give an epic conclusion. And Stephen, as much as I love the Dark Knight trilogy, it's the greatest comic book trilogy for me ever. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I love Captain America. I've got the Shield behind me, and that's right up there as well in terms of superhero comic book trilogies. But the Dark Knight is the greatest trilogy, comic book wise, ever. And obviously, great villains in there. But as much as I love Tom Hardy and the Bane character and Talia al Ghul and the reveal, it was her all along, sort of masquerading in the shadows.
I did it. It was me.
It's disappointing, Stephen, to come from Joker and Heath Ledger. Obviously, the tragic circumstances of Heath passing away, couldn't come back because you can't. Once you're passed away, you're gone. It just ultimately felt slightly disappointing the way it ended. Because it
I
just
think
felt
it would have-
disjointed. It was connecting
yeah,
back
but-
to Batman Begins and completely
Yeah.
forgetting the middle act of the story.
If he had survived, John, I still don't think I would have liked him in 2 films. I think
No.
it's obviously horses for courses now. It's in the past. There's nothing we can do about it. But him making an appearance in the 3rd film when you're trying to big up Bane would just overshadow Bane.
But what you could have
Yeah.
done though is you could have had him manipulating from Arkham or Arkham, because I can never say that right. Arkham Asylum. He could have been manipulating. There was talk of them using deleted or unused footage from Heath Ledger's performance, and they were going to make it look like he was in Arkham, but they didn't want to disrespect his memory and his passing
And his family.
and his family as well. So they chose not to go ahead with it. Went down the Bane route. Look, Bane was great. I did like the film. Nowhere near as good as the first
I
two,
liked it, yeah.
but it was a good film.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's greatest trilogy, comic book trilogy ever for me. But it felt disappointing because we had Joker. He is the villain for me when it comes to Batman. And to go from him to Talia al Ghul and Bane, it's like, nah.
Yeah.
And there's so much potential with this new iteration of Batman. He's this sort of gothy, emo kind of Batman. He's very in touch with his emotional side. It's a different take. Even the Alfred's a different kind of Alfred. He's more, it's not like Michael Caine. He's very much ex-SAS kind of guy, ready to fucking roll. He's nearly getting blown up in the first movie. He comes back.
Circus, isn't it?
It's circus, yeah. There's just so much potential with all the different villains and him sort of riding that line of darkness. Obviously, he says he's been reborn at them. We didn't. I says he was reborn, and I was right. It was almost like a baptism, him coming out the water at the end.
Yeah.
He'll be a more traditional Batman now, but it's more detective-like. And there's so much potential in terms of villains you can explore and then build into that final act. You can have the Riddler back again, Paul Dano, and Joker, both in fighting. There's a great comic book run. I can't recall the name of it. May have been The Killing Joke. I don't think it is, though. I think it is A Killing Joke, where the two of them are almost fighting with each other to get the opportunity to take out Batman. And they're villains for Batman, but they become villains for each other as well. They're fighting amongst each other.
In terms of superheroes, the superheroes' adversaries, Batman's probably got the biggest collection of people that don't like him.
Yeah.
And this
He
is,
ruffles
I think
everyone,
this
fair.
is, I think Matt Reeves is playing the long game. I think he is taking his time. He should take his time. And we're not saying that he's committing to a trilogy in any sense or anything like that, but the same pattern would appear if he started doing, obviously, what Nolan did in the Dark Knight trilogy. But I would like to see a series of Batman films with Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves working together and going through all the different villains.
It doesn't have to be a trilogy.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. That's the
We're
thing.
just
yeah.
locked into this notion of a trilogy.
Yeah.
But he's taken so long between the films. He did say he wasn't going to rush into part 2. He was going to go away, depressurise, take his time, and then come up with something when it came to him.
Yeah.
He was going to let it marinate, and he's done that. To be fair, it's been what, 3 years?
Yeah.
That's a long time. We're not even getting an inkling of a script.
Same gap
pre-production.
between Batman Begins and The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Which was 2005 and 2008. So, no, there's no rules saying you have to make a sequel every 2 years or anything like that. And Robert Pattinson
He's a busy guy.
He's in good shape. He's still a young guy. So there's huge potential there. I think as well, which is good. A lot of people like Ben Affleck. I liked him very much as Batman. I thought he was a great Batman. He was obviously playing an older Bruce Wayne, and we kind of saw that in the Flash film with Michael Keaton as well, with the older Bruce Wayne. So we sort of broke those boundaries in film and live action with the sort of older, grizzled Bruce Wayne / Batman, and that's something that potentially Robert Pattinson could take into his sort of later life, if you like, you know, if he wants to commit to it. I doubt he very much will do that. I mean, I think he likes doing independent films as well as big franchises. He wants to keep himself busy. He wants to keep himself available for not pigeonholing him.
Well, to be fair to Robert's quite a unique beast in the acting business in that he started off in big franchises. Harry Potter as Cedric Diggory, then he popped up obviously in that fucking Twilight, the vampire one. I've never seen it. But he popped up in that and made his name as a sort of A-list actor. Then he went off and explored independent films with brilliant directors. So he's done both.
Yeah.
He's made his money. He's became a really renowned actor. So he's got the freedom to do whatever he wants. I don't think he will have the same derision that maybe an up-and-coming actor who's done solely drama and serious work or independent stuff for like an A24 or a Searchlight Pictures would have, because he's seen what it's like doing big franchise stuff. So I think he's quite a unique beast in that regard. I think he may, if provided the story's there and there's a justification for doing it, want to continue doing Batman long term. I'd like to see him doing it. I liked him as Batman.
Yeah, I liked it as well.
There's a lot of potential, a lot more still to explore. Not so much Wayne, I want to say, in the Batman, if my memory's doing me justice. I'm pretty sure there wasn't a lot of Wayne in there. It was mostly Batman and him. I'm pretty sure that, but the one true scene that stands out to me from the Batman where it was truly Bruce Wayne without any sort of mask on was in the
scene?
It was probably in the hospital.
Yeah.
With maybe the bomb scene as well to an extent.
Yeah.
But even then he's putting on a mask.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to show the world this is the billionaire sort of reclusive Bruce Wayne. Is he a recluse in that story? I don't think he's quite as bad as Christian Bale.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of personal.
Yeah, it was more just that hospital scene with
yeah.
obviously Alfred where he's with a guy that knows who he is and he's speaking to him. That was a one shot little scene we got Bruce in his iteration so far. So there's so much potential for him to explore Bruce. I said it time and again, Steve, and that's what I love about characters like this. Not just Batman, Bruce Wayne, but Oliver Queen and characters like that with their living double lives. They're doing the sort of vigilanteism at night. The characters are complicated. It's not just the real person and then the vigilante. There's somewhere in between.
Yeah.
And they straddle that sort of schizophrenic personality.
Yeah.
And the way they explore that's always brilliant. I loved it in the Dark Knight trilogy because you had Bruce going out in his flash cars and suits and
making a mockery
of Batman. Then he's Batman by night, and then there's somewhere in between. He's sort of becoming both. So when they explore that brilliantly, obviously Michael Keaton was fucking unbelievable as Bruce Wayne. He's probably arguably the greatest Bruce Wayne of all time. Could argue whether he's the greatest Batman, but certainly Bruce, he's got that sort of brooding darkness. So that's always the interesting stuff. So there's so much still to explore with this character. We don't have to go out in a bang in part 2 with Joker. You can explore Bruce and Batman, like you said, Steve.
I would rather keep that character in the background for a later day because I think we're still in that sort of early phase of Gotham and all these larger than life characters, the Matt Reeves Gotham that is, and I think the Penguin web series has been a tremendous success, John, getting rave reviews. Obviously, we're going to see an appearance from the Penguin as well, Colin Farrell, that is, in the Batman 2. I don't think he's going to have a big role again, but again, he could be the main villain in maybe the third installment or the fourth installment, the Penguin. You know, there's nothing to Egghead, yeah. I remember Nicolas Cage. I'd love to see Nicolas Cage just appear in some kind of
Steve, his knowledge of the source material is incredible. He knows Batman, he knows comic books, he knows obscure villains from like the 50s, 60s. And this one's one of them. And he says he'd have an interest in portraying this character, but putting a dark edge on it. And it could be something potentially interesting for Reeves to explore. Whether he chooses to explore it's another thing entirely. But there's so much potential with the character, Stephen. Like you said, he's got probably the biggest gallery of villains in the whole DC side of things. We want to take him out because he ruffles so many feathers. Again, they explored that in the Dark Knight, the Joker, beautifully. Explained to them how they're having their little therapy sessions in the daylight, how he's changed things and there's no going back. That's what Batman does in Gotham.
It was very good.
Shakes it up.
That trilogy as well. That
I was watching it recently.
It's incredible when you look back in that trilogy and you think just how consistent the tone is. If you watch them back to back, I think I got the Blu-ray when it first came out, when the trilogy came out. It was a good 10 years ago, I would say. I think you got the same one, John.
Yeah.
And you can watch them back to back and it just feels like one continuous film. You forget that between 2005 and 2012, 7 years, it took for this trilogy to meet its completion, and it doesn't feel like that. It really doesn't, and I think when you've got the sort of big stars playing these big characters, certainly in that one, you've got obviously Christian Bale, Michael Caine, Gary Oldman, Morgan Freeman, Cillian Murphy as
Your
well.
man who played Harvey Dent, I always forget his name.
Yeah, I can't.
Fantastic
off the top of my
actor.
head. Yeah, can't off the top of my head. I can't remember his name, but
There's so many.
but there is, and there's so many, you know, and obviously Liam Neeson comes back for the third part as well, just to sort of bookend it. So it was a perfect trilogy in that sense. But I would like to think Matt Reeves is a guy that can think out the box and not just aim for a trilogy. If he's in this and he's committed and he's certainly passionate about the character and the comic book lore, then there's nothing to say he can't do this long term.
Well, Steve, you recall when he announced he was taking on Batman, he put the image of, I think, the first edition of Batman on Instagram or Twitter or something and says, basically, this is what I'm going to explore. It's the golden era of Batman or something.
Yeah.
We were all sort of theorising because in the early editions, I'm sure he didn't have the no-kill policy. He was killing the odd people or person. So we were contemplating whether it could be a really gritty, dark take on Batman that we've not seen before. Obviously, we don't ultimately get that. He comes close a few times to being sent over the edge, and he starts questioning this sort of movement that he is inspiring. Where I can't recall. I mean, I've not seen the Batman in a while, but there was some.
Aesthetically, it's a great film to look at. You know, just in terms of sets and locations that they picked. I know they picked some Glasgow locations, which is probably a lot sways or biased. But in terms of aesthetics, I thought they got it right.
That's something I've always enjoyed about Gotham. It's quite. There's a unique. It's kind of like Gothic architecture. It's just even
going
back
to Glasgow on a rainy day. It feels like
Gotham. It does, yeah. And that's why it was so perfect. Obviously, it was just at the end, wasn't it? With the whole necropolis stuff.
Yeah.
Him coming down on the bike with, was it Selena?
Yeah.
But it's just great, man. That's another thing. I mean, if they do come back, they could potentially use Glasgow again. It's always great to have these big movies, productions rolling into your city because it's brilliant for the economy, and it's also just great to fucking get recognition.
I know one man that's not coming back, John. It's your man that played Falcone, I think.
Yeah, he's dead, isn't he? Yeah. Carmine,
yeah. Falcone.
Is it something Scars?
It's your butler from Mr. Deeds, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I forget his name.
Unrecognisable.
That's fucking mad, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but Steve, while you're searching it up, I have to say, fair play to Keoghan, though, because, I mean, this guy's hot property just now. He's just hitting the ball out the park every role he takes on. Turturro, yeah, that's right. It was Turturro, yeah. Where was I getting the Skarsgård? There was a guy that was like a Skarsgård, that wasn't it?
He was Gil Coulson, the
Yeah.
district attorney, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't a proper Skarsgård, though. He's not really a proper Skarsgård.
I think it's Sarsgaard.
Sarsgaard, yeah. Because I was getting him mixed up with Sterling in the gang, but he's not one of them. He's not Bill. Who's the other one? The other Skarsgård? Is it Peter or something? A fucking weird one, isn't it? Get the one who played Tarzan. He's a cool guy, man.
Yeah.
Not Peter. No chance.
Can't remember.
There's another one though. They're all cool, man. They're just a great family.
I like that Tarzan film.
That was good. He was ripped out his mind. He was talking about that. But no, back to Keoghan, man. Look, love this guy as an actor. I've been watching this guy for years now, man. Killing of the Sacred Deer, obviously. Alexander Scott, yeah, that's the one. Saltburn, what was the other one? He was in a Nolan movie. Was it Dunkirk? I've been watching this guy for fucking years. He's just an unbelievable actor. It's a ballsy decision to pick this guy because you think of previous Jokers. I mean, you've got Jack Nicholson, one of the greatest actors of all time, already an established name by that point. He's a veteran actor when he takes on the role. Heath Ledger. I mean, I loved Heath. I loved 10 Things I Hate About You and stuff like that. So I liked Heath. I knew of him. Not the first name you'd think of when you think of Joker, though.
No.
So it was quite a controversial pick. I don't think there would be much controversy over Barry being given the gig full time. I mean, they've kind of
set it in controversy over Jared Leto. I don't think there was.
I forgot about Jared
I think
completely.
a lot of people thought he was a good fit for it, but it wasn't his. I don't blame him for that.
Jared's an unbelievable actor, man.
For that iteration of the character, it was just a badly made film.
Jared's unbelievable. Period. The guy's in a rock band. He plays guitar. He can sing. What's the name of the band he's in?
Not sure.
Something Mars. Something 60 Seconds to Mars or some shit. I don't really listen to him. But he's a cool guy. He's an incredibly talented actor. But like you say, it just wasn't for him, that role. It wasn't. And it's not the role, it's just the writing and the choice to bring Joker in and make him a bitch to Harley Quinn. And there's no other way to frame it. He was a romantic side plot for Harley Quinn. It's like, what are we doing here? That's literally what Harley Quinn is to Joker. You've subverted it, you've changed things, and it's not fucking right. You don't bring an Oscar-winning actor in to play Joker who's bringing his A game, clearly acting his arse off, and then give him, 2 minutes in the movie.
That's a weird one.
Then he has
It
to
really was.
scramble to try and save it. Another sort of, that was Snyder cut, wasn't it? He appeared again.
Yeah.
But he was doomed with that decision.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think that was down to your man, fucking David, not Leach, the other one. David, fucking director of the original Suicide Squad. David.
Yeah. Blank. Absolutely blanking.
Doesn't matter. It wasn't his fault. I think it was just interference at that point. Completely rampant over in Warner Brothers, and they were just
Like
butting
them,
on him. Yeah. David Ayer.
David
Ayer cut. I was going to search something up there, and I've totally lost the plot.
Was it the band?
It was the band, yeah. It was the band, yeah. Jared Leto.
I'm curious to know as well.
60 Seconds to Mars, is it?
All right.
60 Seconds to Mars, yeah. There you go. All right, listen, I've got a couple of decent songs. He can sing. The guy's so talented, man.
Related to him anyway.
Yeah, man. He's an incredibly talented guy.
Yeah.
Just everything. I mean, Stephen, first time I seen this guy was probably Panic Room.
Panic Room, yeah.
Getting back to what was it, 2099 or something like that?
Yeah, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously he's had a little bit of a questionable choice in going and playing that fat oxygen thieving bastard that obviously murdered John Lennon. But I'll forgive him for that.
Morbius.
Yeah, Morbius not so good. But
Keanu
the main,
Jared.
but again, it kind of went off in the tangents about him. It was just to say again, Keoghan. I don't think many people would moan about Keoghan getting the role, and he's just on a crest of a wave just now in his career. He's still so young. I think he's only like 30, 31. He's got years and years, decades acting left. So this is a great choice, man. Again, it just, like you said, Stephen, about The Dark Knight in terms of casting choices. I think Matt Reeves and the casting people have just hit the nail out the park. Hit the nail out the park, hit the ball out the park. This is the paint fumes that are still killing me. I think I've got a slight cold coming on as well. It's rampant in our family just now.
I'm loaded as well. Yeah.
It's fucking everywhere. So I think that it's just, there's going to be butchering of scenes. There always is anyway, whether I've got a cold or not. They've hit the ball out the park. They've hit the nail on the head. I've combined the two together. You see what I did there? In terms of casting, like you says, Sarsgaard guy, Torturo, Colin Farrell, he's got his own spin-off shows, The Penguin. Jeffrey Wright.
Yep.
Obviously, Zoe Kravitz. You've got Robert Pattinson. There's just unbelievable casts.
John, have you watched The
getting built
Penguin
up.
yet?
I've still not seen The Penguin. I've heard it. Stephen, the reason I've not watched The Penguin yet is because I wasn't sure whether we would perhaps explore a watch-along at some point. I've been getting told by certain people, obviously individuals at the football, who watches an unbelievable amount of film and TV. You need to watch it. It's absolutely fantastic. I know I'd like it. I like kind of mobster corruption kind of things. I believe this is a sort of an elaboration on the concept of the Gotham City Police Department and the corruption. They took it a step further and decided to focus on the Penguin. Anything we call him Farrell, I'm on board, so I know I'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the casting's been outstanding. It's been extraordinary. And that's really important moving forward because you've sort of planted the seed with Barry and he'll get his opportunity. Yeah. And it's just great to see that he, much like Pattinson, is open to playing these kind of roles because there's a lot of actors in his position would snub a role like that. I can't imagine a Timothée Chalamet want to portray a character. I mean, it's fucking Joker. He probably would. Maybe I'm being harsh on Timothy. I think Timothy would actually.
I know what you're saying, John. Yeah.
But there's actors who are really renowned for doing drama. And
one chance with me. That's it.
Yeah. And did you turn the nose up? I mean, fucking there's
a cameo. Me?
Yeah.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've seen what this guy can do firsthand. He's fucking stunning.
Saltburn,
Saltburn was unbelievable. But Stephen, I'm telling you, you need to watch Killing of the Sacred Deer. He's basically playing the fucking Joker. He's playing a psychopath who's manipulating people left, right, and centre. Oh, I mean, he's fucking unhinged.
Yeah.
But it's just his screen presence.
It was all down to mostly him. I'm blanking on the other chap's name. Big fella.
Oh God, Jacob Elordi.
Yeah. I think that was the first film I saw him in, and it was a great. But Barry Keoghan, for me, has got that element of uncertainty about him when he's playing a role, and again, he's made to play a role like the Joker. I think it will come. I think you can't tell me that Matt Reeves has not reached out to him at some point to
Steve, did you
have
see
a
the visual
conversation.
that I used on the thumbnail, by the way? Someone done, sorry, I'm interjecting.
No.
Somebody done unbelievable fan art, and it just looks haunting. I used that on the thumbnail, something like that. I mean, it's just ridiculous. He looks fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Absolutely
That's
terrifying.
incredible, yeah. I like
It's
that.
kind of like balding at the back. Just the prosthetics. It's almost akin to like Colin Farrell.
Steve McLaughlin.
Steve McLaughlin. Yes.
Steve, yeah.
Steve.
Yeah.
At the Emirates, the Arsenal. It's a great pleasure, privilege to play
At
in the
the
Champions League. At the
Arkham
Emirates.
State Hospital. Yeah.
Emirates. Amsterdam. Bring
you
that up, man. Look
you
at
can't
that.
tell me that Matt Reeves has not spoke to him since they did this scene, this very short scene that they did in 2022. They've not said to him at some point, "I'm going to utilise you." You know, you can't tell me they've not had that conversation.
Yeah, well, you said that right at the start before we went off the cliff edge. Do you think he's playing the fool and he's having his own? It's a double bluff. We'll get on to double bluffs later on in this show.
Yeah.
I'm pretty fucking sure. A certain musical
Yeah.
frontman is double bluffing hardcore. And he's backpedaling at a rate of knots because his younger brother or his older brother, smaller brother, is going to slap him with a fucking wet sardine if he doesn't double bluff and backpedal very quickly. He's going to be slapping him about.
Sardine.
Yeah, but they're small, aren't they?
Right on the nose.
I was thinking of another fish though. But yeah, sardines not. No, I'm thinking about swordfish. I've had the best pleasure of walking down a street in, I think it was Lanzarote back in the day, and they were wheeling a fucking swordfish literally in a wheelbarrow up from the sea. This thing was enormous. You wouldn't be slapped someone with that either. By the way, you'd kill them. Fucking swords like that, and it's like they must weigh about fucking 20 stone. Huge,
Yeah, I think
unbelievable.
That word, yeah.
But yeah, he's definitely. But we've got to.
Calm down, mate.
I'll fuck you a sardine, you little bitch. What a visual that is. Breaking into his house in the middle of the night here. I'm going to take that spoon out the milk bottle and fuck you with it. Bitch. But no, I don't think he is double bluffing. I don't think there's been a call from Matt Reeves as of yet for this particular film. But I do believe, like you said, Stephen, there will have been
They've had
discussions.
that conversation.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because if I was Matt Reeves and you knew you were going to get someone like Barry Keoghan, you wouldn't do that to him. Put him in a scene that's only as a post-credit or an extended cut thing that didn't make the final and then not utilise him. It just wouldn't make any sense. So the tin maybe. Yeah. Can you actually, you're saying visualise, John? Can you visualise? Is it visualise?
Yeah,
Can you
visualise,
imagine
yeah.
the sound that would make it happen on the scene? And Liam would be like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
That's fucking amazing.
I know no small, but in proportion to Liam's face, it wouldn't work.
No, it wouldn't. No. You imagine. No. Liam's trying to hold his head and he's like, "Yeah, fucker." Backpedal now. There's no album. We'll go into that though.
You want some more?
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to see that. Can you imagine if they just fought like that back in the day? We'd still have Oasis. Probably wouldn't be a particularly good variation of Oasis, but we'd still have them.
Stink of fish.
Instead of no guitars, vintage guitars getting lobbed about the place and them want to kill them, it'd just be like he'd have a stank of fish and then he'd move on. Oh yeah, word stank, it's great.
Just move on.
Move on.
Something like Partridge and say it. Hey, we just move on in a while.
But you'd have to. What you got to do when someone hits you over the nose with a
Not
sardine?
much more to say about this, John. Have you got anything else you want to add?
No, only to say that when he does finally come out of the shadows and portray, he's out and about. Joker, it'll be a monumental moment for the character. And look, Stephen, I genuinely have so much faith in the guy's ability as an actor that he could rival Heath Ledger and Jack Nicholson when he finally does.
Yeah.
He'll show Jared how to do it properly. But with an aside,
Yeah, Jared.
you fucker. With one caveat that the visuals do concern me slightly. They're impressive.
Yeah.
They're unnerving. But when you go OTT, it does remind me of Jared Leto slightly. You think of Heath Ledger, it's just simple.
Yeah.
Slightly receding hairline, green hair, the makeup starts, look, I mean,
coming off.
obviously
Yeah.
it comes off,
Yeah.
but he puts it back on again, then it starts coming off again. You don't have to go OTT with the visuals, it's all on the character.
Yeah, that's
But it helps when you're unsettled.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at Paul Dano.
Well, that's it. Yeah, he didn't dress up in that green bowler hat.
Just
with
looked
the
like a
question
little
marks on
creepy
it.
pedo
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
the
he
glasses.
was good though. He was really
He was
good.
fantastic.
And I hope he does make a return at
Oh, he
some
will.
point. Hopefully not in the next film. I don't want to see him too soon, but maybe in the third film or fourth film. But we're going to move on. But before we do, folks, if you're getting to say about that topic, please drop a comment in our comment section. We will look at it and we will reply. Do you want to see Barry Keoghan back as the Joker? Do you want to see him in part 2 of the Batman? Matt Reeves, the Batman, that is. I'm keen to know what you think. But we're going to move on to our next topic. It's all about James Gunn confirming the first 5 movies and series in the DCU. And just taking this from Screen Rant, because there is a quote there, John.
Yes.
And he has, during an interview, Gunn revealed that the Green Lantern series will be released around the Supergirl movie, which means a 2026 release, though he did not specify if it would come out before or after Kara Zor-El's film. But here is the full quote. It's really Creature Commandos, Superman, Peacemaker, Lanterns, Supergirl, and then some things people don't know. So there you are. John, the one that stood out to me was probably Peacemaker. Peacemaker was part of the Suicide Squad film, wasn't it?
Yeah, because not the original. It was part of obviously of Gunn's.
Yeah.
This Suicide Squad, this Suicide Squad.
So is that film linked in any way to the old DC?
It technically is because you've got Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Just a soft reboot though. You
Yeah.
you can do what Flash is mucked about with timelines that often. It's happened in a new sort of universe. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a way around it, I'm sure. I think realistically, he just really likes the character. It was his character he introduced in his variation of Suicide Squad. He really likes John Cena and he wants him in there. It's as simple as that. I think he's just saying to the fans, look, just exercise your ability to suspend the belief or disbelief over this character's presence, and next to Snyderverse characters, forget about that. He's part of my universe now. And it's fine. We can live with that. Because I do enjoy the character. I've still not seen the TV show, Steve. I've heard it's brilliant. I've seen snippets of it. It does look very funny. I love the character. I thought he was brilliant in the Suicide Squad. This guy going on about honour and serving the country and all this bollocks, and then he just stabs your man. Was it Boomerang or something? Or the captain guy that was in House of Cards. And stabs him or something, doesn't he?
Yeah.
In the chest. It's been a while since probably the last time I've seen. I think I've only seen the Suicide Squad once, and it was in the theatre.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it.
I liked it.
But I've still not went back to it.
Yeah.
So my memory may be a little bit hazy when it comes to the film, but needless to say, I really enjoy Peacemaker. Glad to see that John's continuing to get a chance to portray the character moving forward. Having said that, doesn't really feel like a revelation to put Peacemaker in there, because he's been about for a while now. There's no real revelations in here, Stephen. They kind of announced most of these. I think Lanterns was maybe a slightly later announcement. Supergirl we've been aware of. Creature Commandos, I think they maybe spoke about this back in the day, but I don't know a huge amount about them. I have brought up a page on them.
Yeah.
And it's also going to be animated. And that actually was one of the things I was really intrigued by when the initial sort of discussions over Phase 1, if you want to call it, the DCU, were getting banded about. It was this concept of having animated projects, TV shows, maybe even films, and having the same actors, big, proper, I don't want to say proper, I don't want to be disparaging to voice actors here, because they're proper actors as well. It's a real art. I've seen that with Mark Hamill. Even Robin Williams back in the day showed you the amount of energy you have to really put into a voice
John,
performance to make it believable.
While you're saying that just now, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
No, it's fine.
talking about the animated stuff, Emerald Knights was one of the ones I reviewed back in the day, one of the animated DC ones, which I loved. And you talk about the calibre of acting. Nathan Fillion playing Hal Jordan / Green Lantern. Jason Isaacs is in there. Elizabeth Moss. Henry Rollins. Arnold Vosloo, who played the Mummy, of course. Just
not the other guy.
Guy called Michael Jackson as well, but it's not Michael Jackson.
Who's the guy we always mistake as playing the mummy?
Billy Zane.
Billy Zane.
He does look like him.
He does.
He does.
He does, but it's not though.
Roddy Piper was in there as well.
Roddy Piper, yeah.
Back in the day, 2011. Obviously, he sadly passed
Yeah,
away. But
yeah.
the other one I watched was First Flight. I'm not too familiar with a lot of the actors. I know their faces. Obviously, Victor Garber's one of the ones that stands out. Michael Madsen's in there as well. Christopher Meloni.
That sounds like a character from Police Academy. There was a Maloney, wasn't there?
Mahoney.
Yeah, Mahoney. Yeah.
Kurtwood Smith, obviously, who played your man from RoboCop, Clarence Bodiger. Can you fly, Bobby?
Yeah.
So there is a lot of, as you said, a lot of good acting, good actors out there who do. I was about to say resort to terrible. The voice, you know, and I know
I'm not going to get much love from voice actors on this platform.
No,
I tell you,
Sean Gunn is
him.
obviously he's going to be a big part of this Creature Commandos, which is good. I love him. A fantastic actor.
I get compared to him. I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or not.
James clearly doesn't like his brother because he always. Do you know what it reminds me of? Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
When he wants to pick on Carol Pilkington, so he gives him a role that he knows that he'll be very uncomfortable with, and see how it goes.
I've got to say, I'm not seeing the likeness in Sean Gunn.
I think you're around the eyes, man. I think
potentially the eyes. Yeah. Kind of looks Scottish. There's a million guys that look like me in Scotland with a beard.
So young.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? Crazy. Yeah, no, Steve, look, this is something DC have been doing brilliantly for decades now, man. The animated stuff's been unbelievable. I mean, who was it played Batman for like 20 years?
He sadly passed away, didn't he?
Alongside Mark Hamill's Joker. They've been doing this for like 30 years or something and doing it exquisitely well. So they know how to do great animated. But what, like I say, has really intrigued me was just
Kevin Conroy.
Yeah. Is he passed? Yeah, I didn't realise. Jesus Christ. Yeah. It's just this concept of taking animated stuff, much like Star Wars to an extent, albeit it's the same actors, having them do voice acting in the animated stuff, and then they just seamlessly transition over to live action, and it's the same sort of. So they're casting visually live action accurate versions of the characters, and they're also involved in voice acting. So it just makes it all interconnect. So that's something I'm really looking forward to, seeing how they make that happen, interconnecting the entire thing. Just really looking forward to this DCU.
Playing Rick Flag in this Creature Commandos as well.
Yeah. It kind of looks like Suicide Squad. That's the vibes it's giving me. It's kind of like not heroes, not villains. So, what do you call them?
Anti-heroes.
Yeah. Kind of Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
kind of. Yeah, like
Outsiders,
maybe like the Thunderbolts and Marvel. By the way, people are starting to talk very positively of that in terms of the last trailer. I think I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah,
I'm glad
that may be better than before.
Glad you threw that in there as well, John, because the first thing we spoke about was DC, and the second thing we spoke about was DC. So we want people to know. Well, they should know, looking behind you.
Yeah, no, I love both.
We don't size them up against each other in this show.
No, I want them both to be great. But
it's
to be
good
fair,
for us.
But to be fair, Marvel had a right good run, so if they have to be shit for a little while and DC rise, then that's absolutely fine.
As long as there's something for us. Yeah.
Exactly, and there's always something for us because we love both. We're not these tribalistic fucking idiots who want to pick a side.
Out of those ones though, John, what one, I think this is probably an obvious answer actually, what one are you looking forward to the most?
I think Lanterns. I'm not going to lie.
I'm looking forward to Lanterns
because we need to see.
Of the animated stuff I've watched. I don't know what this is going to be. Is it going to be a series, this one?
I think it's a TV show. I'm pretty sure it is.
So I just find that world very interesting, and obviously the sort of structure of their place in the universe, these people. And it's I don't think it would be hard to be better than the Ryan Reynolds one.
Yeah.
To be fair, and I'm sure Ryan Reynolds would agree with that, but
Chandler, Aaron Pierre. Yeah, it's a TV show. Stephen, I just feel like, much like Fantastic Four, we're still to get the definitive version of this sort of story and these characters, and they're so powerful within the DC side of things. And it's almost like a fucking sub universe entirely, what's going on there. It's a really interesting story to explore. Again, it's TV, you're bridging the gap. There is no gap between TV and movies now. I mean, the budget's getting spent, rightly or wrongly, in some of these TV shows. applicable to movies. Sometimes they actually are more than most movies now outside of Disney and Warner Brothers. So they're exploring this story on, I presume it's going to be Max, because that's the Warner Brothers equivalent of Disney Plus. Looking forward to it, man. Interesting characters, love the colours, obviously. And just how they're going to interconnect it all. This is going to be the key. This first phase is going to be so important. Superman will be the first, I presume. And if they hit the ground running with that and then they get a couple of hits. One thing I'm taking away from this, Stephen, is it's not massive names.
Yeah.
I mean, the Lanterns are obviously, Green Lantern is a pretty big name, but it's not fucking Batman. It's not. Yeah. It's not. It's almost like what Marvel were doing in 2008 with Iron Man, Captain America. Kind of lesser properties. Supergirl. I don't want to deride Supergirl, but it's kind of lesser, and they're trying to build momentum and then build into something bigger. James has been around that.
Well, the thing is, in terms of James Gunn as well, which I don't want to see, John, and I don't mean this in a negative way or anything like that, but I love most of the films I've seen from James Gunn as a director. Tonally, they're very similar in terms of humour and, pacing and the characters within. What I want to see range from this universe. I don't want to see everything tonally the same. I don't want everything to be a joke, but at the same time, and I was a fan of Zack Snyder stuff, but everything was dark and gritty. Everything, every film we watched within that universe had to be moody and dark and depressing, and and I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. But when you're seeing it in nearly every film, because that's the tone that was set by the director, and that was his choice. I don't want to see that in this. I want to see range. I want us to go from a really depressing sort of situation that you would probably find in a Thor film, the older Thor films, I mean, to a Guardians of the Galaxy being the next film, and you're like, what the I never seen that coming, that kind of thing. That's what I want to see in this. I don't want to see Superman being sort of played off as some kind of a joke and light-hearted. I want to see a seriousness to an extent, somewhere in between comic book and being dark and gritty. Somewhere. It's funny because two of my favourite Superman are obviously Christopher Reeve and Henry Cavill, and they couldn't be so more different in terms of tone. Somewhere in between that, I would like. I think
that's getting back to Marvel. I think that's what they've done so well, and the sort of Halcyon. What is that? How you say it? That's what I'm saying. Halcyon days, and that they took real existential threats, and it was kind of dark. Everyone's getting wiped out, and then you go to an Ant-Man. Yeah, it's more grounded, human story, funny, uplifting. They balanced it beautifully. They'd go from one to the next, and it'd be kind of different. There was a period where we were all praising Marvel and Disney for exploring subgenres within the greater comic book genre and diversifying it, making it a little bit different.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
It can get samey really quick.
Yeah, but James Gunn can do that. He can make you laugh and he can make you cry.
I think that's why he's perfect as the guy spearheading it. I know a lot of people don't like James Gunn. They don't like this DCU that he's brainchild in, but I think he's perfect.
Film had you laughing, it had you crying.
Oh yeah,
it was such a great finish to that series.
And just the swear words getting dropped as well.
Not per film. I want to see it with each film, not within it. One film each, having the range of emotions. I mean, try that with all the different films, all the different properties they've got. They don't all have to be the same.
I think it's a decent little first act, if you like, of this new DCU. You've got Creature Commando, you've got Peacemaker, Supergirl, Lanterns, Superman. Setting it up nicely. I don't know who's been cast. Women of Tomorrow. I mean, again,
it's Millie.
Millie Alcock. Yeah. I heard that. Yeah. I thought that was like previous. I've lost the plot. We've been speaking about it that much. I'm just intrigued to see whether the suit will marry up with obviously the David Corns vet one. Obviously it has to, because it's the same universe, so there has to be some sort of crossover. I didn't realise, is she related to Kal-El? Because it's obviously Elle. Her name is Elle, something else. You just said it in that article.
I don't know what
Kara
they're going with. I'm not really sure what the relationship in this iteration is, John, but I think in the past it's been, is it cousin? I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that. I can't remember. I never really.
Kal-El.
I think the Supergirl character will be important in this phase. But it was something I never grew up with. Obviously, the Supergirl film came out, but the budget for it was ridiculously low. It was it was a TV movie.
Yeah.
I think the only link they had to the sort of Christopher Reeve stuff at the time was Mark McClure, who played Jimmy. You know, Dave McFly.
Yeah.
That was the only link. He appeared in both sort of franchises, or parts of the franchises as a link. But in terms of quality, I mean, you saw some of the cost cutting in the later Superman films. This was even worse.
Yeah.
In terms of visuals
Using
and
the
stuff
same
like that. It was
shot
terrible.
every
Yeah,
time he
it
was
just didn't-
flying.
They
Yeah.
just didn't back it. They just didn't back the project.
That's the problem you've
Yeah.
had. The sort of lesser characters, female characters certainly, get shot sort of shrift. Is that the right phrase? I'm not great with phrases, as we've already established in this stream.
Yeah.
Tonight.
You know her from obviously
House of Dragon, yeah,
I know her
yeah.
from No Gallagher's Easy Now video.
Yeah.
Which
She's
is
quite distinctive looking,
yeah.
to be fair. She has got a
She's-
distinctive look.
for anyone out there in Australia that might be watching this show at some point, I don't mean this in a bad way, but she looks so Australian.
Yeah, she does, doesn't she?
If I saw her, I went, she's Australian.
Absolutely. There's
Yeah.
another one. What's
It's
she
a
called
positive,
again?
by the way. It's not. I'm not saying that in a
Benny.
negative way.
Is a singer, young singer from Australia, and she's the most Australian looking person you'll ever fucking see in your life. And
Yeah.
she's kind of like her.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. Yeah. As you were talking about earlier, John, it's just he looks Scottish. Talking
Yeah.
about obviously Gunn, but yeah, I don't know what it is. Just get vibes.
No, I'm looking forward to it though. I'm looking forward to seeing where Jamesy Boy takes it, because I do love him as a film maker, as a writer. Not seeing him as an out and out producer, sort of creative arbitrator. And so I'm intrigued to see where he's going to go in terms of spearheading and doing the Kevin Feige kind of stuff. Also, he'll be more hands-on. He will direct some films. He'll do some writing.
Yeah.
Don't know if Kevin's ever done that. I know he was a producer sort of guy, and he was brilliant at micromanaging and picking the right people. That's why you got the likes of the Russos coming in. I'm trying to think off the top of my head here. Just a choice to have Kenneth Branagh direct a superhero movie. As a guy that's directed
Yeah.
Shakespeare movies. Having him coming in and direct a fucking superhero movie, and it worked. Just different takes on things and projects, and that's how you do it.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
Kathleen Kennedy should take note, because
Yeah.
what she's doing is not how you do it. Be intriguing to see how, I just like, yeah, kick into her every now and again, not connected to her at all. I'm intrigued to see if James has took anything from Kevin and where they go with this, because I think the future's bright, provided they get these projects right.
I think they will.
These
I
initial
think
ones.
took his time over it. I'm looking forward to it. But folks, what are you looking forward to the most? Are you looking forward to Creature Commandos, Superman, Peacemaker, Lanterns, Supergirl? Well, the things that he doesn't
Steve-
want people to know about yet.
What's the one you're most looking forward to? Fucking Superman.
Well,
I was
not
talking about
necessarily.
these
I'm-
ones.
I'm quite nervous about Superman, John, because they need
Obviously,
to get it right.
Superman.
I'm looking forward to the Lanterns. That's probably my top
But
one.
you says, I mean, obvious. I mean, I didn't even pick up on the fact that Superman
Yeah.
was on that list. It's fucking Superman. Come on.
Well,
I was
well,
looking at the tabs I had opened. That
I'm more,
weren't
I'm
Superman.
more comfortable and I'm looking forward to the Lantern stuff just because of the previous sort of experience I've had with the animated stuff. And, yeah, the film wasn't great, was it? But yeah, what's your thoughts, folks? What are you most looking forward to? Probably as Superman, to be fair to a lot of people out there. But we'd like to know in the comment section. We'll certainly read and reply to it. We're going to move on to our final topic, though, John, and it's all about Liam Gallagher. He's now denying a new Oasis album is in the works. It was just a laugh. Ha ha ha.
Oh,
We talked about this
ha ha.
3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, can't remember.
That's the Irish
Dead
now I'm
all.
trying to do there. Ha ha. It's ha ha.
And we talked about it, John.
Who the hell is that?
This actually ties into what we thought. We were right.
Doesn't sound
And
Irish.
yeah, we
Who
were
the
talking
hell is
about it. But he took to Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, once again, just to say he was dismissing his earlier teases, saying there is no Oasis album in the making, responding to a fan news account that claimed the brothers were working intently on a new album. Liam said, I was fucking joking. Remember them? And the reason, because everyone is a little uptight these days. I'm sorry if I've upset anyone, but fuck me, it was a laugh. So I think someone responded saying a reunion is enough. And Liam wrote, exactly, people always want more. Let's get in a big stadium and go ape shit and see what happens after that you with me or what? He also replied to a fan
His
asking
English
why
is
not.
not the best at times.
Writing, that's hard to read.
Liam,
And
a
does he-
comma exists, mate. Full stops exist. Use them, please.
Well, he doesn't. Instead of full stops, he always says, "You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?"
Yeah.
And he always says that, sweating profusely on a chat show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
John,
Because he's always got a fucking Parker on. Studio lights exist. It's
Yeah.
incredibly warm.
those eyebrows will keep him warm.
Feel like a headband.
John McEnroe.
I have to stress, man, I'd never say any of this if Liam was next to me. I love Liam.
I love
Liam's
both
my
of them.
favourite,
I
man.
do love both of them. John.
He's definitely my favourite. I love Noah as well, but Liam's my
Liam's
favourite.
just he's on another level with humour. But
I love it.
Noel's got a very funny sense of humour as well. He's really, really uptight. But he can be really, really funny and dry at the same time. But
Let's
here's a
just calm the fuck down. There's no Oasis album in the making. I was fucking joking. It's just that just calm the fuck down, but it's just epic. I love Liam. Oh,
because
my
you can
God.
actually hear his voice.
Let's
when
just
you're
calm
reading
the
it.
fuck down. I can't do a Mank accent. Can't do it. It's
John,
going Scouser.
I mean, before we get into obviously these comments, we were talking about this, saying why don't they just stick to doing these gigs, see how it goes, and then maybe work on something afterwards. Why would you put yourself under so much pressure and get into doing an album? This is what happened the last time. This is one of the reasons that he's blew up the last time, is because he's were touring, doing albums, and not getting on very well. Why don't you just take your time, go in and do your gigs, see how he's got on? I know they've been talking, John, for a few months now, maybe even longer than that, maybe about a year or so, that we don't know about. But I'm looking forward to his gigs. I know they've said this is I hope this is another thing he's get wrong and he's lied about, the televised bit. I hope there's going to be video cameras.
Oh God, I know.
There has to be for this.
I think there will be for a documentary. At the very least, I think we'll see behind the scenes stuff and a whole sort of documentary coming out about the reunion, the greater tours or tour, because there is going to be two tours. There's going to be a British tour and a US tour. We kind of discussed that, or North American tour. And I think you'll maybe explore just the journey and how the relationship's going throughout.
Yeah.
But in terms of actual televising of the gigs, I'm pretty sure they won't. They've charged an arm and a leg to people. Some people have paid fucking crazy amounts of money for £80 tickets or like £400. Lord knows what the VIP packages are. So they'll want that to be sort of
Exclusive.
exclusive. That's the word. Yes. Exclusivity.
Yeah.
Yes. For those people who are going to the gigs, it's shit for us because we don't get the chance to go.
Closed
Despite the
doors,
fact
yeah.
I was fucking on my PC for like 7 hours trying to
You
get
did it
tickets.
twice, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to. Yeah, they gave me an opportunity. I was given the privilege of being part of the ballot for those who missed out on the Ticketmaster sale
Dangled that carrot in front of you
for
twice.
the Wembley extra Wembley gigs or something, and then just didn't give me the fucking tickets. Cheers for that. No, Liam, pricks, fucking bastards. Get my hopes up there. I'd have went down to London.
Someone,
100%.
Someone put on social media, I don't know if it was yesterday or today, the what's about to be announced as the official lineup, which is going to consist of obviously Liam and Noel, but with Game and Bonehead.
Yeah.
They've not announced a drummer. I don't think they're going to get anyone. I think that's just Noel all over. I think it'd just be a session guy. Some random that we don't
Noel
even know.
hates
'Cause
drummers.
He doesn't appreciate them.
He
That's the
fucking
thing,
hates drummers, man. Like I says, we spoke about it before. I think it was the second drummer,
yeah. Alan White.
Alan White,
Yeah.
destroyed him in a live performance
Yeah.
because he ended the song abruptly.
That's
I
right.
think
yeah.
he get mixed up and he was just giving him it.
Yeah, Liam had to calm him down.
What a
That's right.
fucking drummer.
Yeah,
Get a big round of applause for the shit drummer.
yeah.
And Liam's like,
He's-
you got
he's
calm
went
down.
on- I'm sure he's went on record. I don't know if it was Jonathan Ross or whatever.
Yeah, but drum.
But
machines.
he'd have a drum machine in place.
Yeah,
of
it's
a fretty,
bullshit.
because
No.
he says that drummers are just fucking
High maintenance.
high maintenance and very simple people.
I don't think you'd say that
Yeah.
Dave Grohl
No,
and guys like that.
he doesn't like Dave Grohl though.
Does he not?
No,
No, that's a fucking shame. Dave
which is a
loves
shame
him as
because he loves Oasis. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
well, to be fair, Dave's been a naughty boy recently,
yeah,
so
I'm
I
glad
can,
to see Bonehead in there.
Yeah.
Giggsy, it's funny. I know he was a bass guy for the first few albums, but I don't really remember many bass lines that really stood out on those early Oasis tracks. They
because it
were
was
very
a lot of noise.
heavily masked, weren't they? And
Yeah.
Noah said that. I think it was a recent. He says he loved obviously definitely maybe and talking about Watch the Story in Morning Glory. He said there was a lot of issues with that in terms of sound.
Yeah.
That was the actual.
Because
thing
Noel's
he did.
admitted, listen, I don't buy into this box that he's not a great guitarist. He keeps disparaging his guitar playing ability. I think he's a brilliant guitarist. But he admitted himself he didn't have a clue. They didn't have the knowledge that they have now in terms of effects and settings on amps. He just 10, 10, 10, 10, mid 10, bass 10, treble 10. Somebody says, you know, you can like dial them back down. He's like, what? No, it's 10. Leave it. Sounds fucking great. Don't touch it. Then he started experimenting and realising. So I think that was just fucking two amps chained together.
A bit of an experience there.
Dimed out their minds.
And it happens to the best of them. I remember watching a documentary with, it might have been an anthology actually, the Beatles anthology with Paul, George and Ringo at Abbey Road. Paul was talking about when stereo was first introduced, and George recalls at the time, well, why would you want it coming out of two speakers? Why not just the one? He obviously didn't understand the sort of potential that had to come out in stereo. But it's like that, isn't it? You're obviously thinking at that stage, just crank everything up and we'll just.
To be fair, it did sound good because I watched that.
I think he's highly critical of that album. I don't know why. I think it's a great album.
It does sound good. That's just a lot of noise though. It is. But I mean, that's fine. It's like your man, blank on his name, fucking murderer. Psycho, what with the Ramones?
I was about to say the name, but I don't want to say that.
He was. He fucking shot. He played Russian roulette with someone and let them blow their brains out. So, I mean, it's convicted. But yeah, you know who I'm talking about. That producer, he was renowned for wall of noise.
Wall of sound.
Wall of sound, so yeah. I mean, it works. It does work. And it worked for Oasis in those early albums because I love the songs.
It did, yeah.
Could they have been produced better? Probably. But it is what it fucking is. And that was their sound. It was distinctive. People loved it. Rock and roll. You go to an album, gig and you would have had your fucking eardrums blown out, but it's absolutely fine. Yeah. I wish I had the opportunity to go to a gig. I wish I had a time machine. I'd go to the 60s, see the Beatles. Probably not, because there was a lot of screaming girls and I can't be fucking arsed with that. So I'd maybe go to like the Revolution recording. Maybe go to the Rooftop. Try to think of another example. Probably the Dirty Mac stuff with the Rolling Stones.
Circus,
get that Union Jack shit to fuck though. Never understood that box. Why would Keith Richards and all that be into that crap? An educated man. And probably the 90s. Speaking of Union Jacks, no, we use Union Jack Epiphone. Come on, no.
They went to Loch Lomond in 96, I think it was.
Yeah.
That would have been the opportunity, John, for you.
Probably would have. 90 when?
96.
I think it was 7, 7.
Oh, well, you got a time machine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that would have been incredible. Yeah, going there. Okay, back. Why the fuck did you not go and see them staying this well? You weren't really into them, though, weren't you? No. In a big way in the 90s, it was more REM.
I mean, I had watched the story on CD.
Did David go?
David and Kevin went. That's my uncle and my brother. Yeah. They went to see Oasis in 2000 and something. It was a sort of final lineup at Murrayfield, but they didn't really like the venue at all. Thought it wasn't that great.
Was that 2008? Because it was half empty.
No, I think it was a lot earlier than that.
Was it?
It might have been 2000.
Yeah. No, I thought David would have went. I know he was big into them.
Yeah, he introduced us to Oasis. I think it was Supersonic. It came out, but it was a few months later, a few weeks later. I can't remember. In '94, where it was a cassette of Definitely Maybe, and he says he loved it. He just loved it. I think Liam's about the same age as David as well, so he could obviously get that sort of age group. Got where they were coming from, the housing scheme in Manchester, housing estate. And try to find their way out of that and be successful. Obviously, King Tut's was another link
in Glasgow,
where they were signed up by Alan McGee. So I think that kind of interested David a lot. Just that sort of overcoming the odds kind of story.
That's a great story. It's much like the Beatles and those early beat bands that broke through and working class guys making it in America.
It doesn't happen.
But you think the Manchester scene in the 90s, they were kind of reminiscent of those 60s days where they were breaking through from working class roots and inspiring probably the likes of the Smiths and maybe the Stone Roses. They were probably inspiring known guys like him to, this is working class guys like me that are making it. Spiral Carpets. They can make it.
Charlatans.
And obviously, he was a tech with the Spiral Carpets, wasn't he? He was like touring with them.
Yeah, he was one of the roadies,
Yeah. So, Yeah, they've got a really important band, Oasis, man. I mean, you can deride some of the shit that goes on with Liam. I fucking love it. I go back and watch videos all the time.
I take everything he says with a pinch of salt though when it comes to social media. I think he loves.
I do think they're working on
he
an
loves
album.
a wind up, but I think he's probably been reined in a little bit to say, listen, you shouldn't have said that.
I do think they are working on an album. I think he's double bluffing. I think he's probably been told by Noel what enough.
Yeah.
Because Noel has been in the studio and he was in the studio.
Noel's a bit more disciplined in terms of how to market the product.
You said it, Steve. I mean, it's no way to announce an Oasis album on fucking
See the way
Twitter.
they announced the gigs? Both of their Twitter accounts, their official separate ones, and the Oasis account all tweeted out at the same time. I went, fucking hell.
I didn't see it initially. I see it trending. I'm like, Oasis is trending. Oh, what's this? Just someone talking again. Then I seen Liam first, and then I seen Noah. I'm like, oh my fucking God.
Exact same content.
It was like Office and the American Office. It's happening. The sprinkler stuff. Or like the fire alarm. It was like that. Oh, fuck. And then the clamour to try and get tickets. So I do think they are. I think they probably are working. Very, very early stages. Probably no writing.
Yeah, there was talk about one acoustic album, one stadium album. So I don't know.
Just got to be careful though, because it could be another Verve situation. I wasn't having their reunion album.
Stone Roses as well.
The Stone Roses. Blood have done some albums and just not anywhere near as good. That's the dangers when you start getting into like older age. Like I'm not saying 40s, 50s is old age or ancient, but you're older in the mid 20s. You just need to. There has to be. It has to be done for the right reasons.
But people think of Oasis, they think of that period between 94 and 2000.
Yeah.
They do forget that the later albums weren't as good.
Yeah.
I mean, we did that thing.
The tier list.
The tier list, and I don't think I've heard that whole album.
No.
I just didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, and people do forget that. So you've got to be careful. You're not going to repeat that sort of quality of
what people
music.
Want is certainly younger generations who have not had the chance to see them is the greatest hits. Going and seeing them live, out their minds, and getting to live that. But what they're not going to have is the experience from the 90s where no one had camera phones. They probably took fucking disposable cameras and whatnot. You were in the moment. Yeah, but you're living in the moment.
I mean,
I didn't live in the moment with Oasis, but I distinctly recall living in the moment in various things.
But there must have been songs from Oasis that were probably premiered in certain gigs.
Yeah.
Like the Master Plan. I'm not saying it was, but just as an example, people going there to see Supersonic and roll with it or whatever, and then he comes out with the Master Plan or whatever. You know, just some song that's very well known now, but at the time, the first hearing of that, they'll never have that again.
No.
You know?
No, you won't, because it was lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
They were going through a sort of zeitgeist moment. People were completely tuned in. I mean, look at Nebbuff and stuff like that. And just dropping stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just frenzy. It was like the Beatles again.
I just remember that period, you know, that sort of 5-year period where every time they released a single, it just smashed it. You know,
I that's one of my big regrets is I'm too young to really appreciate what was going on at the time. I just remember hearing songs that Don't Look Back in Anger on the radio and liking the song.
Yeah.
That was how deep it went for me. I wasn't really aware enough of music at that age to appreciate what was going on. And it's a shame because you look at it now and it's probably the last
decade.
It's the last decade of really great music. But Oasis in particular were the last band to really like fucking explode.
Yeah.
Like a Beatles or a Led Zeppelin or something like that out of nowhere, and people were just fucking getting off their minds.
Yeah.
It's not really happened since then. I mean, you had sort of new punk stuff with Franz Ferdinand. It didn't explode Oasis. And there's nothing now. I mean, maybe Taylor Swift, but it's different music.
Yeah, I mean, there's no long game with a lot of bands.
No.
Snow Patrol in the early 2000s came out with a really good album, 2004 I think it was. Can't remember what it's called. They did about 4 singles off it, which were all very good. The rest of the album was okay, but it's that can't match that success of a debut album. Franz Ferdinand kind of did it with their second album, but it was ever diminishing returns
but
after.
If you remember that first album, every song nearly.
Yeah.
I mean, there was like random ones like This Fire and 40 something, and just little album tracks were fucking
Coldplay
amazing
as well.
Yeah.
With another band, first 2 albums superb, and then after that it was just It just became a stadium band.
Steve, what you said there about a stadium album and an acoustic album, much rather see an acoustic album.
Yeah.
Even the likes of the Foo Fighters have done acoustic live albums and they're great, where you make acoustic versions of hits.
That's, yeah.
But the stadium one worries me, because talking about Coldplay, they have just became a stadium fucking act.
It's weird.
And you can hear in the songs when they're releasing it, overproduced, and you can hear them, that bit's for the crowd to sing along to. You can fucking hear them doing it. The Foo Fighters to an extent have done it.
Sort of props in the crowd, lights and stuff
Well,
like that.
I mean, it looks impressive, but it's fucking corny.
Yeah.
It really is.
That's what it's
fucking
became,
corny.
though. It's corporate, isn't it? And they're bringing out Michael J. Fox and they're bringing out Ralph
baffling.
Macchio. I'm like
Fucking singing Fix You to Michael J. Fox on the stage. Well, you can't fix him. He's got a fucking neurological
Ralph
condition.
Macchio was the latest one.
No, I've not seen that. Is there anything wrong with Ralph?
No, but it's just that, what's he doing here?
I mean, I understand it was a nice touch to bring Michael onto the stage, but I thought it was in bad taste playing Fix You.
I think in terms of Michael J. Fox, Sean, I think we have to make it clear we're massive fans of Michael J. Fox on this channel.
A great guitarist in these days as well.
Yeah, a great guy. Absolutely.
An inspirational guy, what he's done for Parkinson's and whatnot over the last 30, 40 years.
That's where Coldplay are at, and that's where they're going to be for forever and a day. They've kind of turned into a U2.
Yeah.
That's
fucking U2 is another one, yeah.
That's just the way
Jesus
it is.
Christ.
We're
a great
Some
band.
would say the Rolling Stones as well.
Oh, fuck yeah.
They just wheel out the hits.
Oh, Stephen, I mean,
don't
Mick
want
Jagger.
to see Oasis doing that. If they're going to do it this time, and I don't want to see them doing it every couple of years. They're just doing the greatest hits every, and nothing's really progressing artistically or anything like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree. Stephen, are we rounding this up? Because I want to go off on one about fucking Mick Jagger.
Yeah, go for it.
And I don't want to bring it into the Oasis stuff, because I know you like to cut it.
Yeah, I'll
Mick
try
fucking Jagger has been out talking. I think Paul McCartney was on something. And he was asked, he was basically asked about Beatles and the rivalry with the Rolling Stones. Who's the better band? He said, of course, the Beatles were the better band. Rolling Stones were great, brilliant blues band. They were great what they did, but of course the Beatles were better. Word got to Mick, and Mick has been chatting fucking shit. Basically saying Paul's adorable. The Beatles were this, but they only lasted so long. We're selling stadiums and we're still selling stadiums. What the fuck are you talking about, Mick? The implication being that the Rolling Stones are better than the Beatles. I love the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
They're not in the same fucking universe as the Beatles. Nowhere near as complex, nowhere near as revolutionary. What they were doing in the studio with effects, finding feedback and flanger effects and all of this. They, in conjunction with obviously Abbey Road, were fucking creating things that are in and on people's pedal boards and fucking in studios to this day. Yeah. That's what the Beatles brought. And then just the development of the music.
I'm not impressed with that spreading a career over.
Someone says even Paul McCartney's selling stadiums out and he's in his fucking 80s. What are you talking about?
But even then, I'm not in terms of new content or anything that's inspiring or artistic that appeals to me. It's been a while since Paul McCartney did that. I think actually Egypt Station was a good album, to be fair. But in terms of getting me really excited about his new release, I'm not really that bored, to be honest with you.
That new Rolling Stone song, but the rest of the album was fucking beige. It really was.
Some songs were okay, but it's that way where I think the Beatles just went out at the right time.
Yeah.
And they called it a halt. They could have done what the Rolling Stones done. They could have easily done that. They would have done it longer and bigger and better. But no, I've had the opportunities to go and see the Rolling Stones for the last 40 fucking years, and I've never been interested because I'm not really interested in seeing these guys. I'm not going to say old guys. I'm not ageist. I think what they do for their age is phenomenal. It's really impressive. I'll not be doing that when I'm fucking 80. I'll be in a wheelchair, slurping soup out a straw somewhere, no doubt. Not jumping about a stage in spandex, but I think in terms of that, appeal doesn't appeal to me at all. That whole go to see the Rolling Stones just to sort of that guy we met in fucking Ray Davies.
Take it off. Oh, if you've seen Mick Taylor, then okay.
I'm not interested in that.
Seen Charlie Watts?
It's just.
Bill Wyman get out.
Yeah,
he had enough. He's like fucking shit.
Because it's what they do. I'm not going to hold that against them, and they make a lot of money from it. But I don't think it's just about the money for the guys. I think it's just they do it because that's all they know, and that's what they do.
And I appreciate that, but you can't use
it keeps them alive.
Yeah, exactly. And And listen, I want Keith to live forever. He's
Yeah.
a fucking absolute inspiration, that guy. For his fight against death, man. That guy's been fighting a good fight for a long time. And he's just a class guy, but Mick can't be chatting shit about the Beatles. Come
Mick's
on.
a funny one though. He can be quite
Take the
bitchy,
piss.
can't he? He can be quite
Take the
bitchy.
fucking piss.
Yeah.
I want Paul to come out just for once. Paul to come out and
Paul
say
would
something.
fucking twat him if he really
Just
had
come
to,
out
you
and
know?
say, look, Mick, you followed fucking John about like a shadow. You were
Even to the
obsessed with the
circus.
fucking guy, even to the circus, even tried to get into the Dakota building, and they
Yeah.
knocked you back because you weren't fucking good enough to be in the building. That's enough.
Yeah.
Just step away, son. He's copied their albums every 3 fucking months after they release something. John said it himself.
Yeah.
You can't be chatting shit about the Beatles. Fucking just seen that, and I'm like, what the fuck is he doing?
Yeah.
What is this clown
He's not
doing?
told us that could have been a good topic.
Oh,
to
he's
talk
a
about.
fucking clown. We'll
They'll
talk
probably
about it.
took up the whole night, right enough. We'll probably talk
Yeah.
more about that in
Yeah.
Friday's blog.
Absolute bollocks. Yeah, that's exactly. I'll come up with something like that.
Yeah.
Just relating to like where we rank
Yeah,
these
'cause
fucking
it
bands.
Could be a while. We could
Yeah.
be talking about that for a while.
Where we rank these bands for the 60s, because I don't even think
That's
the
a
Rolling
good one.
Stones
A
are.
tier list would be a pretty fucking good thing to do in the podcast. Yeah.
I don't even think the Rolling Stones are in the fucking top 5 bands that came out in the 60s and 70s. They're not even in the top 5. But we'll
Who's
get
your
into that.
number 2?
Number 2.
Find out Friday, folks.
Yeah, exactly. We'll find out. I'll tell you. It's not Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones were fucking dead after Brian Wilson passed away and Mick Taylor left. Anyway, what's your thought?
Jones.
I know I keep saying Wilson.
Brian Wilson's still,
Still
here.
alive, yeah. I keep fucking getting them mixed up. It's like the whole Patrick fucking
Timothy Dalton.
Timothy Dalton and Roger Daltrey. But no, the fucking Patrick Stewart and Patrick. When it was in Aquaman, he was in the Conjuring.
Yeah.
Patrick. Forgot his fucking name.
Yeah.
This should be a cautionary tale for anyone. Don't inhale fucking paint fumes. Don't come down with an illness and then go in front of a camera for fucking, an hour and 20 minutes. It'll end badly for you. Brian Jones,
Yeah.
that good that I can't even remember his name and consistently
Patrick.
forget his name. Patrick
Starfish.
Swayze, Patrick Wilson.
Wilson, that's it.
Yes.
Patrick Wilson.
Patrick Wilson. Barry Wilson. Who's that? Barry Steele. You remember Barry Steele? He was good, to be fair. What's your thoughts though on Barry Keoghan coming out and giving a definitive update on the statement update? A definitive update on his Joker and where it will potentially be going in the future. Don't think it's going to be happening in Joker 2 because he's not had a call. Share your thoughts on it. Batman 2, yeah, Joker 2's been out, it's shit. James, I've not seen it. It may not be shit. I take that back. I need to watch Lemmy's review. That's a definitive review for me. He's seen it. I've heard good things about Joker 2. I've heard it actually may be alright. Maybe some of those Debbie Downers were wrong. Thoughts on James Gunn outlining the initial 5, I want to say, DCU projects. I'm not even going to try and say them here. Supergirl, Lanterns, the other one, Commando's fine. Peacemaker, Superman, just the other one, I can't remember. Share your thoughts on that. Watch one of you again, like Stevens already says. Are you looking forward to it? Finally, Liam Gallagher playing down rumours of a new Oasis album. I think he's talking shit. I think there is an album in place. He's just defending it too vehemently now. He's trying to like put fires out. I'm like, nah, you're trying too hard on
Everyone
him.
needs to calm down.
Now I think there is an album. You're fucking going too much the opposite way now, and I think you're over trying. Anyway, share your thoughts. Any thoughts at all you want to share, put it down below in the comment section. Like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to get notifications straight to your eyes for future content like this. Follow button, notifications button over on Twitch for the exact same content on a different platform. Don't know why you do it, but hey ho. I prefer Twitch at times. Follow us over there if you're over there. All that's left to be said though is until the next time, thank you for watching this and bye bye.